There are still many agencies and first responders that are working hard in and around the crash site to restore safety and get folks back to work in their businesses, to reopen roads, and so much more. We're joined this morning by LG&E, by MSD, and our emergency management agency, as well as Oklahoma Fire Department, to talk about what's going on at the scene right now and some expectations for members of the public, for employees of businesses that have been impacted around the crash site, as well as business owners of those businesses as well. LG&E is one of those organizations that has been working hard around the crash site over the past 2 weeks. They are making progress, but still have more work to do in restoring electricity and gas for certain parts. Here with us this morning is Liz Pratt, Senior Director of Communications and Corporate Responsibility of LG&E, to provide an update on LG&E's work and what they are doing in the days ahead. Liz?
Thank you, Mayor Greenberg, and thank you to all of the responders and local, state, and federal agencies who have remained partners through this response effort. We know it's been an incredibly challenging time for all who were affected, for the surrounding neighborhood, and for our community. And through it all, our community has come together and shown an outpouring of support in so many ways. So to start with the work that we've been doing since the crash occurred and what we're currently doing. Directly following the crash, our immediate focus was making the area safe for the emergency responders and for those in the area by de-energizing power lines and disrupting natural gas service. At that time, about 290 electric customers and 94 gas customers were affected. Since then, our focus has remained on keeping the area safe and restoring customer services. During that time, we've been replacing damaged utility poles, repairing electric infrastructure, and are in the process of replacing natural gas infrastructure. Early on, we were able to reroute power when it was safe to do so for some of our affected electric customers. And last weekend, crews replaced broken poles and damaged equipment along Grade Lane to get power restored. Currently, we have about 90 electric customers and those 94 gas customers still affected. As each area of the site has been cleared, and while cleanup efforts continue, our crews, with the support of many employees behind the scenes, have been assessing our equipment and determining what steps must occur. In many cases, that is requiring replacing and repairing equipment. So right now, our focus remains on Grade Lane. This is where our gas crews and business partners are replacing a damaged gas pipeline and service lines that feed from it. This is the pipeline that also delivers gas to the neighboring streets. We anticipate work along Grade Lane may take several weeks. Once that work is complete, our crews will then be able to make the necessary repairs along the side streets. On the electric side, as I mentioned, we were able to restore service power to Grade Lane last weekend. So our crews are now working to get service restored for customers along Melton Avenue over the next several days. Again, as cleanup efforts continue, we'll be shifting to the remaining affected areas. We're also keeping an eye on the forecast and weather that's headed our way, which could affect these timelines as well. We appreciate our customers' continued patience, and we are making every effort to restore service safely and as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liz. MSD is helping to coordinate several local, state, and federal agencies throughout this entire process. And today, you'll hear that we're proud to announce that 95% of the oil from this incident has been contained. To provide more detail on this, the other work that MSD is working to do to protect our environment, our ground, our water, our air. We're joined by the Executive Director of MSD, Tony Parrott. Tony?
Thank you, Mayor Greenberg. And, as the mayor mentioned, there was a lot of collaborative efforts with local, state, and federal agencies and partners who have worked tirelessly to meet the challenges of this large and complex effort. As the mayor mentioned, about 95% of all the runoff that has entered some of the waterways has been captured. That equates to approximately 880,000 gallons of oily liquids and other runoff that have been removed from waterways in southwest Louisville, including in the northern ditch, the southern ditch, and Pond Creek. One of the things that I think is very important for the community to understand that it's a very complex operation. We currently have 3 locations that catch runoff that are set up with booms and skimmers. Skimmers are mechanical devices that separate oil and other contaminants from the water. At those 3 locations, along a 4.5-mile stretch of Pond Creek, with the closest at the crash site being in a nearby ditch and the farthest being in a portion of Pond Creek near Nick Rodman Legacy Park. We do know that the waterways will be impacted by the weather this week. The current rainfall will help flush some of the runoff to these collection locations. And so when you think about the ongoing operation and obviously the quick action that we took in the very beginning, we're not aware of any runoff that went further down Pond Creek. We have not seen any oil show up at sites that are close to the Salt River, or we haven't seen anything at the Ohio River. During the week of the crash, MSD did put out an advisory asking the community to avoid contact with waters in Pond Creek, the northern ditch and southern ditch, due to potentially contaminated runoff. That advisory is still in effect, and we want folks to avoid contacting waters in any way and keep your pets away from those waterways. However, for clarity, your drinking water is safe unless you have been contacted directly by Louisville Water. If you see oil or debris or discoloration in the waterway, please report that to MSD Customer Relations by calling 502-540-6000 or emailing our customer relations at louisvillemsd.org. And that is our update for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony. As Bill mentioned earlier, and we want to continue to encourage people to go to our community resource center that has been set up nearby the airport, and it will continue to provide services to those who are impacted by this incident. We're also joined today by Jody Myman, who's the Executive Director of our Emergency Management Agencies, who's been working since the seconds following this crash and coordinating efforts and working with all the emergency responders, the first responders, to provide an update on where we are and where we're headed over the weeks ahead. Jody?
Thank you, Mayor. In emergency management, you've heard me talk a lot about it, in the past. We prepare, we respond, we mitigate if possible, and we work through the recovery process. And in all the disasters we've ever had to work through, the recovery process takes the longest. It is the most challenging for us to get through. So and that's what we're doing right now. And I want to assure the businesses, I want to assure the public that there are over 100 people there daily working to get you back in your businesses, to get you back in your locations, so that you can resume any kind of normalcy that you can. Where they're working 24 hours a day currently to do that, but they haven't stopped. But again, you've heard behind the people that have spoken before me that there is challenges that are taking place. The weather today they had to spend yesterday preparing for the weather today so that conditions do not get worse. So on a daily basis, we're presented with challenges. You know, and while the NTSB has released the site, that doesn't mean that they've released the evidence. And every piece of that aircraft has to be found, collected, and packaged and taken away properly by the contractor that's on site doing that. So, you know, because of that, we've had to create a phased approach with our cleanup and our recovery. We've got 3 phases. We've got phase 1, which is from Don Hudson Boulevard south on Grade Lane, and those businesses have been working. It's not open to the general public, but those businesses have been in their areas working, conducting businesses. Our phase 2 is north of that on Grade Lane, and you know, with the challenges presented with the amount of oil, with the amount of runoff, with the infrastructure between electric and gas repair that's taking place, that's going to take a little bit longer, and we're working through that to make that our next opening area. And then the phase 3 is on the streets, Melton and Nable and Knopp, those areas that are directly affected by the aircraft itself. So like I said, we are working diligently. There's a lot of people out there that's working very hard. You heard about the Community Resource Center. Please take advantage of that, the public, the community. There's resources there for you. You saw me on my phone just now, and we just got approved. We put an application in over a week ago through Kentucky State Emergency Management for the state business or the Small Business Association to come in, and I just got that approval. So they'll be embedded into our Community Resource Center probably by the end of the week. More to come on that. So that's a big plus, again, for our businesses to come in and get potential resources and advice on what they should do in their future as well. So like I said, just know we'll be giving weekly updates or any other, you know, anything else in between there that may pop up on the site that could cause us problems or cause the public problems. We don't anticipate anything outside of that site taking place that could cause anywhere else to have to be affected. So like I said, we are working hard. The folks behind me and their teams are working very hard. Contractors, there's still public safety agencies that are on site. We still have representatives on site. So we will do that until this is over with and we can get all the businesses back in their locations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jody. All of us and our colleagues will continue to work incredibly hard at this to ensure safety for the future, for the entire community, for those that have been impacted. Our support will not end for those who have lost loved ones, and we will continue to move forward together, partnership, and with strength for the whole community.